Yeah, man. Oh, I almost caught you. We're live now, buddy. How you doing? Merry
There you
Christmas,
go.
sir.
Merry Christmas, happy
Yeah, Merry
holidays.
Christmas.
We are
Yeah. Hey,
live.
everybody. Hey, tonight's gonna be a great show. Dave Wilson's Ring of Hire show, and Jason's on tonight. Risoli. We're gonna be talking about. I didn't word it right. Christmas etiquette. That's how you say it, right?
Holiday party etiquette, Christmas etiquette, whatever etiquette, huh?
All right,
got
then
all
we
the
can say it like
holidays.
that. All right, we'll be right back after this video. Hey, my goal tonight, Jason, is to get at least 2 or 3 people. Mondays we had 1.
Oh boy.
I had 1. I don't know. I'm going to keep an eye on this. They're still having some problems, but we were able to get some people. Well, anyway, all ready for Christmas?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm ready for every day. I live in the
Every
present, Dave.
Every day, right? You got that foot going. You had your foot operation. Everything's good.
Yep,
Got
all
medication.
good. I'm on the mend and ready to bust out with some cardio after New Year's.
And ready to go, right?
Like everybody
Jeez.
else. Like everybody else.
Oh, I'll tell you what. I was looking forward to this show, and the reason being is I thought I could without scripted. So I was like, oh, it's going to be an easy subject. But then I was like, I go online. I'm like, oh my god, there's a lot of friggin' things that you should know before Christmas etiquette at your holiday parties. That
Absolutely.
must be an HR nightmare eventually, doesn't it?
It's definitely something that HR doesn't want to witness in real time. I'll tell you that. Sometimes I used to duck out on stuff like that because I don't want to see. It's plausible deniability. When you're not there to witness it, you can't be held accountable to it, right?
Well, we're going to go through this list because it's pretty funny, and
it's definitely
you don't realize
it's definitely something that can.
Oh, it is. And I DJ for 30 years. So I've been to a lot of Christmas parties as a DJ it's kind of boring. Some of them are crazy, but a lot of people, I mean, if I played slow dances all night long, slow dance, everybody's out there. But when you put that dancing music on, unless it's open bar, then it's hard to get everybody dancing because, hey, there's your worker. She's out there breaking it down.
Yeah, and that's just a topic right there. To serve alcohol or to not serve alcohol, that's a major decision a company has to make right off the bat.
I've seen some companies learn so hard. One time, a girl, she would drink it so much, she fell down out in the Center Valley on the floor, blood. They had the ambulance coming out.
Oh my gosh!
And she was the girlfriend of one of the coworkers, so it wasn't even him.
Yeah.
And that made some company changes. It was so funny. That made some company changes the following year. So you were going from a 4-hour open bar down to a 2.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Oh my God.
Kenny's in the house tonight.
And he's on Facebook. Look.
There we go.
Hey,
he wasn't going to miss this one.
Yeah, Kenny, stay on Facebook because you're really making the show look really good there, man. We're getting some serious views, Jason.
There we go.
Kenny on Facebook. Yeah, we're going hundreds. I mean, hundreds. Before it was 5.
I love it.
But no, the alcohol, it's like that. I've seen it back in the day. I always say back in the 90s when I was DJing, it was always open bars. And, was there some arguments, fights? Now it's kind of changed.
No, it has. It's definitely changed. It's calmed down. What venues to do it. I mean, there's expense to it. So, whether or not it's just going out to a restaurant and everyone kind of BYOBs a bottle and it's a small little departmental party but there's definitely companies that go all out still. I saw, a buddy of mine owns a small business, rented out the whole party bus, went to went to New York City, and they're going to the restaurants. They're going, all throughout New York City, having a great
Right.
time. So, and there's, I know other companies, they'll rent out a bowling alley, and they do stuff like that. So there's definitely,
That's cool.
there's definitely some fun things that companies can do nowadays. They'll still, a lot of them turn it into award ceremonies, where they do
Right.
their year-end awards and stuff like that.
Yep.
Another way to get around this, Dave, some companies, if they want to try and go the conservative route, they do it during the day. So again,
Right.
they'll do a holiday luncheon with an awards ceremony. So therefore, it might not be alcohol served because it's the middle of the day, or
Right.
again, it's cheaper because they're not invited spouses and significant others to these types of events. There's a lot of different things that companies can do, but there's definitely the pitfalls, as you alluded to at the beginning, for sure.
Jason has such gorgeously handsome looking teeth.
Thank you very
Kenny,
much.
I don't think you can see mine with the gray beard here, but God, Kenny.
I think that's the first time I got that compliment, Kenny, by the way.
Yeah, well, now I see your teeth. Now I'm talking to you and I can see your teeth. I can't see mine when I'm smiling. I don't know why. But no, you're right. One of my years ago, we always had a great dinner, man. He would take us all out, and your significant other, you could bring somebody. You had a great dinner, and you had a couple drinks. I don't drink, so, but you knew there was only like about 18 of us, and I thought it was pretty fun. It was just being yourselves and relaxing right after work.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it definitely should be that. It should be focusing on the camaraderie of enjoying time with your fellow coworkers. It's an opportunity again for your significant others, your spouses, to meet your coworkers, right? So the people that because again, we've talked about this so many times. They're people you spend 8-10 hours a day with every day, 5 days a week. And I'm sure people bring those stories home and talk to their spouses about, so and so at work, and this is going on at work, and it is an opportunity for spouses to to meet those people that are influential in your life. So it's definitely a good thing. Obviously your boss being able to show their appreciation for you, to express that to your spouse, your significant others, your spouses as well, is goes a long way.
There's only a certain amount of companies. A lot of them don't do it anymore.
Yeah,
it's rare. The companies that do it either had a good year. David Wilson has stuffed up his games tonight. No Santa Claus tonight. Right, Kenny?
He's wearing the tie, though, Kenny. He's wearing
a tie, Kenny. But it says
tie.
Dave Wilson does drink. No, I don't, Kenny. I don't drink. I haven't drank in like 25 years, 26 years. I think it's been. So I don't worry about it at a Christmas party.
Exactly. You're there to watch the others be fools. So.
But some companies, God, years and years ago, I always go back years ago. You got turkeys. They would give you big companies, might give you a turkey or some bonuses. But I agree with you when you said about awards, because when I do every year, Hannaberry in Allentown here for HVAC, right? They really, let me tell you, Jason, you get in Center Valley, right at the Hilton. Nice dinner. Yep. You get myself as a DJ. I've known them for 12 years. I feel like I'm part of the family there. You can bring your spouse, 2 hours of drink, open bar, 2 hours of non. Nice dinner. But let me tell you, those awards and the gift certificates that they give out and the gift cards for safety, for employee of the months and year, and wow. And then they talk about how the company did. Then they talk about their 401k that they, again, they were able to contribute to them. And it's just a nice night. And years and years, it would go a little bit longer with the dancing, but now once they're all done with that, it's pretty much over. But man, they gave them all heated jackets this year.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God. They had, when you walked in, I liked how they had the managers, and all the managers had to greet everybody as they came in, not in the venue, but on the outside of it, right on the outside of the hallway. So when you came in, you got to meet all the bosses right there. And I think they did that because of that reason. So you could everybody could introduce your wife or husband, to them.
No, that's great. That's great. Yeah, no, someone commented, Kristen commented, remote worker, so no holiday party. That's a great point,
Yeah, Kristen, you changed your profile picture. Now she's been on the show. That's okay. All right, but we're going to talk about that. But they do have remote. That was one of the things I couldn't believe, of all the things they're doing for remote now.
Yeah. I mean, when I was in my last role, I had a team spread out all over the country, including Puerto Rico. And, we definitely tried to do our best. I mean,
Yeah.
you weren't hugging each other and clashing cups over there, tossing them back or anything. But, we tried to make sure we enjoyed and played some games and stuff like
Yep.
that. And everyone dressed up and, we shared some recipes and stuff like that and had some fun. We played some, we do trivia and
Yep.
different types of trivia games and stuff like that to make it fun. Obviously,
I,
dressing up in outfits, so we do costumes, and the other thing that we would also I'd always make sure I sent out a present to folks on my staff. It was small, but it was still an appreciation.
right.
Sometimes we've done Secret Santa, even if it was virtual.
We did this year.
We've done that.
Virtual.
We've done that virtually as well to do some things to try and again to promote the camaraderie. So
Yeah, that's awesome. One of the things they say, we're doing a virtual get together tomorrow. See, we're doing our Friday. Even though I'm off this week, I'm going to sign in.
Well, I think the best point about that is you make it work, right, Kristen?
Right.
So they're doing an ugly sweater contest, so you make it work. You work with what you got, and again, we're blessed to have this technology nowadays. I mean, 20 years ago we didn't have this, so to be able to, so we're use the technology and make it work. Don't use the excuse of what you can't do. Use the empowerment of what you can do.
What did you buy me for Christmas this year? Did you get me anything?
Dave, I was thinking about a personal visit. So,
all right, yeah, we're gonna have coffee soon. We're only 30 minutes away from each other.
I know. We definitely need to do that.
Yeah,
so
definitely
make that happen before you have your surgery. I just had mine.
I know.
Before you have yours.
Well, I'll be doing a show every day, and if you still keep looking for work, we're gonna do one every day. We'll just wake up, good morning show with Jason and Dave. It'd be just really good.
There we go. We'll turn it into a morning show. That'll be fun.
Some of these things that I found on here that were pretty good was, all right, like do's and don'ts. Some of them is do. Yep. Make sure you respond to the invitation, and by that, this. I even got one for the company that was saying, hey, it was very nice invitation to your family. I mean, from an email, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that goes a long way. Just the formality of it, and again, sending it to someone's home address or something like that, where their spouse might see it. I mean, it's definitely formalized it. I mean, I'm always a big proponent if it's like a small business, handwriting stuff. I mean, if it's something that's handwritten, I mean, nothing's more personal than a handwritten note still.
Wow, I wonder if they even do that anymore. I'd probably be like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
It's not just photocopied.
Yeah, right. But that goes a long way. It goes, but even with big companies, we'd still go and all the managers would sign a card, whether or not they put in a little gift certificate or something like that in there for associates. We would still do something like that where it was we'd show the appreciation in some way possible.
I think employees like it when they were called up, when they were called out, and they walked up. You could see it. They liked it. I think they liked it. You had to get up. Your name is being called. You couldn't just sit there and say, no, you're not like in a company meeting. You're representing. And I think that's where it comes out. We talk about the etiquette. Listen, I mean, there's just some things you got to learn. And whether you like that guy or not, or her or him, you still got to just, act professional.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
David, will somebody send me a present? And then he puts Jason Risoli, where's my present? See, they're all. I know, Kenny. I thought Jason was going to send them to me too. I thought today I'd have one to open up. But
So talking about while we talk about alcohol, I looked up a couple stats on this, Dave. I actually prepared a little bit for this one.
All right, good.
70% of companies serve alcohol at their company parties. At their holiday parties.
Okay, I thought that was going to be going down sooner.
Yeah, I mean that's quite a bit, and again, I had a conversation with my brother about this because he had a company party recently, and I said, obviously I always look out for him, and I said, are you going to serve alcohol or not? And he said, we are, and I said, well, okay, well, when's too much? At what point do you cut it off? Do you do an open bar? Do you do 2 hours? Do you do a drink limit? So we got into what we'll do, we'll limit drinks. We'll do a drink. We'll give tickets out. Well, how many tickets?
I've seen that. I've seen with the tickets.
Yeah. So do you give them 2 tickets a person? Do you give it 5 tickets a couple? So we got into what comes off as too cheap. What comes off as you don't want them to get intoxicated and drive home, and so. I mean, it's a lot of things.
That's got to be on some people's minds all the time.
Yeah,
as a manager, no matter. I don't think your job ends because if you're
Yeah.
out there and you're representing your company, and everybody does, listen. And one of the things was to make sure you know your guest, who you're bringing, a significant other,
Yes.
or whether you got to talk the same thing. Because if my wife wouldn't be out there being one wasted laying on the floor, but I've seen it,
Yep.
and you're like, well, and then you see people, oh, that's just Bob, that's just,
Yep.
you know.
Yep. No, absolutely. And again, another stat that I looked up is that 42% said they've seen increases in social media related to these holiday parties. So, meaning like a mishap or something got posted on social media
That
that
was one of
should
the
not
things I
have
wanted
gotten
to talk to you
posted
about.
or became incriminating. So, it was pretty interesting, some of these stats that I came across.
Oh, that was one of the things I wanted to go over you too, is the social media part, because if you're doing like a live, or listen, I've seen a couple of the employees do the worm when I'm
Yep.
DJing. They're out there doing the worm, and I'm like, the one guy, his back was killing him. I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa! My mind was, I was like, I wonder if that's workers' comp. He's out there doing a friggin' worm, and he'll get disability for a couple months.
It's definitely something that someone can get a lawyer and bring an action and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But is it something that occurred while doing your normal job functions? That's a consideration. Right. Here I am putting on the HR hat real fast.
That's
is it something that happens during your normal job functions, or is it something that happened on company property versus not on company property? That's another thing to consider. So there's some definitely considerations of where it happened, when it happened, how it happened, what happened, so that of whether or not it's compensable or not. So
we had the one company, they gave out the checks. There was some people, I guess, went home that one year. They went home and they threw them out because they thought it was direct deposit, but it was a live check.
Oh my gosh!
So the following year, they had to reissue a lot of them. But my point was, the next year, and I've done a lot of these holiday parties for a while, they were like, everybody, this is a live check. Do not tear it up. This is for you, because people just take it, throw it out.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my God, what the heck?
And again, another consideration for these holiday bonuses, you talk about. Yeah. I mean, do you give the companies? Do they give a full bonus to someone that's only been there for a couple of weeks?
I think what I saw, and I talked to the one boss about that. I talked to the owner of the company of that one time. I said, "How do you do that?" And they just gave a percentage, because there was some. Listen, they had to give something, because if they were only there a month versus somebody's been there for 35 years, but they broke it down to a percentage, and then they even said they gave like a gift card. Some of them just gave a gift card for $25, $30, because I was wondering how they do that.
Everyone deserves to have something. So,
I guess no. Okay, this is a question for you. When you go back to work, right? And it says one of the things we're going to go over says, make sure you go to work the next day.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Make sure you go to work. But do you go back and tell everybody what your bonus was? I'd be like, oh, hell no. That's one thing I don't know.
I mean, put it this way, from an HR perspective, we always say, don't, figure that you're going to post it on a bulletin board. Anything that you do with an employee, pay wise, you could tell them don't share it with anybody, but at the end of the day, you can't prevent them from sharing it, right? So if it's something that you're willing to do, then it's something that you're willing to post on the bulletin board for all to see and know about, because you really can't prevent them from talking about it. I mean, unless you have them sign some sort of non-disclosure, which you're going to have them sign a non-disclosure over a Christmas bonus? No,
I know. Well, I got your first trivia question tonight for you.
Yeah, go for it.
I want to see how good you are. This one might. Why should you carry a refreshment in your left hand?
So you could shake hands with the right hand. I mean,
got it.
That's a common sense answer, Dave. That's not true. That's the common sense one for $100. I think.
Is it?
You better come at me harder, buddy.
I had to read it. I didn't know it. I was like, I don't drink, so I'd be like, well, I have water or soda. Kenny says I received a silent award last part in the Christmas holiday. Kenny, they probably got you a free year at LinkedIn. They probably don't even pay you for that. LinkedIn subscription that he gets put in jail all the time.
Yeah. So there was another thing that I saw though related, that actually 39% of employees felt pressured to attend their company party actually, and 35% attended because they felt obligated. So that was another thing that you talk about the attendance after, but a lot of people feel really pressured that they have to go to these. Like if they don't go,
don't you feel you should? Don't you feel? I mean, as much as
I do think, I mean, that there's other obligations people might have, or
Yeah.
again, if you don't bring a date, or something like that, do you have to bring a date to something like this? Or some people are personal, like
Yeah.
they really want to separate out work from
From
their personal lives a lot.
here
And
you are with that HR stuff. You get me going back and forth.
I
You
know,
go
I
back
know.
and forth. I mean, I'm like, just go to the damn thing. Then I'm like, yeah, well, you're right. You got other options.
Yeah,
Jesus. But
they got to
if
find a
it's every
sitter
year in
for
a
their
row, though,
kids
if
or
it's every year
something.
in a row, something's wrong with that.
Yeah, but they have to find sitters for their kids or something like that. Or again, people just don't. Maybe honestly, what happens if you're an alcoholic and you really don't want to be around alcohol and stuff like
No,
that?
I
So
I know.
yeah, there's
Some
lots of different people that are, they just don't believe in it, and or they're scared to see their coworkers do something that they don't want to see.
Well, that's another subject that we're going to get into
Yep.
here. I know it definitely got some things there.
Yep.
But all right, you got that one. You were lucky. We talked about I didn't really go over the social media. So is that something, do you feel that a company should say it, or you just know better not to? Because I mean, I would take a picture when I'm DJing there. I take a picture, but it's not my company. But I don't put nobody on there out dancing. Like if they're out there doing crazy things, I don't. When I DJ, I've learned not to do that because some people don't like it. Even if it's at any kind of party, they just don't like their pictures or videos being on
Yeah.
social media.
Well, most companies, again, when I say most companies, I'm saying larger employers that have more defined policies. Most of them have a social media policy,
Right.
for appropriate use in social media policy. So that'll stipulate that, like, even not just holiday parties, but anytime during the year, you put something up there. If
Right.
it can tarnish the reputation of the company, you could have
Yeah.
it could come back to you from an employment action standpoint. So you can't go out there and just everyone presses the whole free speech thing nowadays. And
Yeah.
hey, I'm a believer in everyone's rights too, but there's rights to a certain extent, right? So you don't get to say anything you want at any time to anybody.
Right.
Free speech should have certain limitations
I
to
get
it. And again, from a company's perspective, if you're tarnishing the reputation image of a company
the
on
company.
social media, and it's because you said something stupid, or you did something stupid, yeah, the company might be able to come back, or might need to come back at you, and there might be an employment or disciplinary action.
Yeah, I guess if you don't have, I guess you're right. See, this is how you got me going back and forth. Now I don't even know if I want to go to one.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, I can't drink. I got to hold my drink in my left hand. I
Yeah.
can't do social media. I got to smile and shake your hand, even if I don't like you. I got to do all that. I love it. I love the discussion of this. This is because listen, I guess you just know better. If you've been in the business long enough, you know better. I wouldn't want to say, am I going to get out there and do the electric slide and cha-cha slide and all that? Probably not. Because somebody's going to get my picture and they're going to use it against me.
But pretend, when you go to your own holiday party, pretend you're going to your wife's holiday party. You want to be on your good behavior, right?
Right.
You want to make a good impression. So you should do that at your own holiday party as well. As much as you want to have fun, you still want to set a good impression, right? You want to make sure that you're not doing something that can come back and make that, or did something that makes you look like a fool.
Yeah.
But the whole point of it is to relax, enjoy time with your coworkers, to be sociable, to celebrate the hard work you did all year. I mean, that's what it's about, and to be joyous in this season, right? I mean, that's the part of no matter what religion you celebrate, everybody, or what what holiday you celebrate. I mean, it's the spirit, right? You're celebrating the spirit of this time of year, and that it's supposed to be joyous. That's what it's supposed to be, and that's why they have holiday parties.
No, it is, and like you said, even it's some of the stuff I was looking at here was saying, hey, listen, you might not like your boss, you might not like this person, but you know what? They're putting on a big party. It could be a small business, could be anything, but if that person's putting on the party, you still need to be professional and shake their hands or say hello, introduce. Anything you want to do, you got to look at it that way and not just be like, well, I'm going to ignore Jason tonight. I'm not going over there. Hell no.
Yeah.
Jason Risoli, please check your direct email. What are you doing, Kenny?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, man. Kenny, what did you do on my email? Let me see. You're on LinkedIn? I thought he wasn't supposed to be on here. I'm going to report him.
I don't know what shenanigans.
Oh, he got an award. He got an award right there. 8th Annual Silent Author Award. Kenneth Dunner Jr. right there. Looks pretty sharp.
Very cool. Very cool.
Damn, I didn't get one of them. That looks pretty good, Kenny. MD Anderson Career Center. Nice. All right. Might has
Very
me
nice.
stopping and looking at it. But no, I think you still need to introduce your significant other, or, and especially when it comes to, now this one was really good, is who you're going to sit at what table.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely.
The parties that I usually go to, usually the management and the team, they're up giving all the awards. They're at a table. I've seen a mix, but then I also have seen them at 2 or 3 tables, the same thing. The owners,
Yep.
And the management team on one thing, and, separating it. But, I get it.
Yeah. I mean, I usually would think that for most standpoints, you kind of just make it open, let people sit with who they want to, mix and mingle. I mean, it's not a wedding, right? It doesn't have to have the formalities of assigned seating or anything like that. Obviously, you might have a couple reserve tables for some executives if they're there, and some senior leaders that are there. But aside from that, a couple reserve tables that it's open forum for seating. It's informal, but
right.
But again, I want to go back to the one point that I made about a lot of people some people feeling pressured. I've heard some of those stories where, like, the owner is, he's taking his staff out to strip clubs and stuff for the holiday. It's like,
that was back in the, I heard that years ago.
No, recently, no, this happened in that, like, real
Right.
time, like in the past, and like, again, if I'm talking from my own personal belief, like, if that was it, I wouldn't feel comfortable going to a party like that, personally, and so, yeah, I mean, even if there was a pressure to go, I'm sorry, there's just certain things, like, I don't think it's appropriate as a holiday party, or if holiday party where, again, your boss gets completely plastered and is belligerent, just because he's the owner of the company or something like that. I don't want to be around that, so again, I can understand that with employees, that they feel obligated. The other thing is how far do you go to some of these parties? It's one thing. It's one thing if you have a party and everyone's local, but if you're bringing people in, are you gonna get a hotel room just to go to a party if it's 2 hours away or 2.5 hours away?
Right.
I don't know.
Especially if you have divisions and they can have them at certain areas. Yeah, like that.
Yeah. So I mean, how far are you willing to travel to go to one of these? I mean, it's definitely, these are some of the considerations to have with feeling up, that pressure to go to some of these parties.
Yeah, I've seen a majority of the ones I've been DJing last year is the alcohol, like we talked about. The alcohol has been really less than maybe an hour or two open. The rest you have to pay for your. I've heard some employees complain because, well, no, we got to buy our drinks. And I'm like, I want to say to them, I'm like, listen, man, not even the other people have parties or anything like that. You should feel honored that you have something like that, but because you got to buy your drinks. But they did get offerings for the hotel rooms. Mm-hmm. They got a good discount, really good discount. It was like, whoa, that was almost like $80 to $100 off that you could stay. And I think I don't know if the company paid for that or if you had to reserve it a couple weeks before. So I think they had something to do with that because they want people to stay if you're drinking. I mean,
correct. It's a way to mitigate the liability. Absolutely. Yeah. Or to make sure, again, with this, even a small business, make sure everyone gets home at night. Like some of the things you got to do, whether or not it's an Uber, making sure everyone, you either get them an Uber or just a check-in. Like you said, your job as a manager, even you're at that party. Hey, all my employees, you send me a text when you get home. I know it's after hours. I know it's not work, but here's the deal. I try, I love you. I care about you. Text me when you get home. So I know you got home all right. Those are things that managers should do that really help, again, reestablish the relationship there, that I care enough about you that I want to make sure you're home safe. And those things go a long way.
I could say that. Just text me. It's not like it's a kid. It's like, listen, if you drink, have a good time, And I've been there since with DJing. Whoa, I see a lot of people. And listen, I don't drink. And I just wish we would have had Ubers back in the day because it would have saved a lot of people DUIs and everything. And like Uber, I've seen companies, that some of them that pay for an Uber ride. They'll pay for it. The company pays for your Uber ride. And that's where I've seen some of the younger generation. I'd walk up and be like, you driving? They're like, yeah. I'm like, are you crazy, man? I said, the cops are they'll be out all over the place. Fine. Well, when you get $10,000 hit later and you get all these fines for a lousy, $35 for Uber, it's, to go home and come back and get your vehicle, enjoy yourself, be safe. The same way as, you go to work, you come home, same way.
Yeah. Well, I like Kenny's comment. Wants to see me employed next year. That's my goal, Kenny. It's my New Year's resolution.
Yeah,
So
can you
any companies out there? I'm still looking. I'm still I'm an eligible bachelor for hire.
for hire? He's a regular. He's
Oh,
ready to go.
for HR services though. So
Well, yeah, you're the first HR person.
I'm letting loose on this last podcast of the year. If you can't tell.
Yeah, I always say, Jason, I appreciate you coming on being HR because, like I said, nobody knows my secret, man. It's like HR and me. I mean, listen, they're great people. I love them to death, but I don't want to be around them. It's like, because you're not coming to me and say, Dave, you're doing a good job. But that's another show. But no, you always, I guess, being in those positions like that, a lot of people don't think of all the stuff that goes behind the scenes because, like you said, there's certain things that I didn't really think about. The way you worded it was detrimental to your company, like on social media. I could see that. I'd be like, whoa, would I want my company on there knowing that, look, they're trashed. Oh, they let their workers get wasted. You know what I mean? I get that. I get it.
No, I mean, it could be a great event, but there's risks.
Right.
It's all about trying to make sure it's controlled. And again, I think I don't see a problem with serving alcohol at a company party, but
Right.
there needs to be some controls in place. You can't just let it go, get out of hand. But it's not. There's definitely can have fun without it though. I mean, you could definitely have nice events that are a lunchtime event or even a dinner party event, or do stuff that's creative. Again, my brother did the bowling with his company, and
that's different. I mean, listen,
they
it's different.
They had a blast. They had a blast there. That at the event, the people came from almost 2 hours away to go to that, and they had a great time. Just some camaraderie of hey, the owners would play against these, bowl against the other employees that were there, and the wives were bowling too. It was a great time, and it wasn't that expensive.
I like it. Here, you know what? And I've heard this. At first, when I read it about the food, right at a venue again, I'm going to take you back to DJing because I see it all the time. And believe it or not, the owners, a couple have told me that they hear the rumors that people didn't like this certain amount of things, didn't like this. They need to, with being diverse, you need to really look at, you got diversity, everybody, different cultures now. So the food has to be almost catered towards that. And I've seen that only because of that reason, but there's so many different there. I didn't even think about the food.
Yeah.
Again, little things like that for company parties you have to put some kind of thought process behind it.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, you definitely have to have different options, but I think the hotels and stuff like that, especially if you're going to holding it at an event, a place like that, they have that pretty much covered. I think with gluten free and different type vegetarian options and different types of options for folks. I think they but at the very least, yes, as a company, you need to make sure that those options are available. That we're serving this, but there are other options available upon request
for them.
What
is proper cell phone etiquette when you're at a holiday party? Ooh.
That's something that I never even thought about. I mean, don't have your phone ring during the awards ceremony, but
I know.
aside from that, I mean, I do think. Again, people are there to relax.
And
you shouldn't. If I think the etiquette is more on the executives than anything else. I mean, if you're an executive going to a holiday party, you're an owner going to a holiday party that you're throwing or hosting, you should be engaged in that party, right? You shouldn't be taking conference calls. You should show up on time. If you're going to give a speech, and the party doesn't start till you get there, obviously you don't get there late. Be there on time. If you're going to give a speech to sum up the year, which I do think is a good thing. You should make sure I always would encourage that of a manager or owner, whoever's hosting, to summarize all the successes that you've had throughout the year. Obviously, lead that into your recognition and rewards if you're going to give out any awards and so forth. And then what and some things that you're looking forward to in the next year. So celebrate. Celebrate the past accomplishments and what the future goals are. But at the end of the day, focus on the present, right? Be present, focus on the present of you're all there to enjoy yourselves.
Hey, you're going right through my list. You have your list, or you like Kylie, which your eyes aren't moving down. Kylie's always like, you can tell when Kylie's like this.
No, all I did for this one, I did try and pull up a couple little stats here and there because I thought, again, I was interested to see, like for my own edification, I wanted to see like what percentage served alcohol, and one thing that I was really really surprised with.
What's
Now
that?
I don't know how accurate this one, office romance, and I'm sure you have that one.
Don't treat an office party like a singles bar.
Yeah, I
That's
looked
so
up.
funny.
I said 36% of workers have admitted to dating a coworker, and 30% have married a colleague. I could not believe that. 30% said they've
30%. Wow, that's
married.
kind of high.
That
That's
seems
high.
high. I saw that stat, and I did not believe that at all. But that was for
I mean, I
career
know
building.
HR goes through a lot of that stuff, and there's a lot that goes on with that, man.
Yeah.
I know office romances and all that, but here, I like it. You got old single Dave or single Jason out there going, "Hey, who's this?" Wanting to dance with your wife and drinking too much. Whew.
You got to watch out for that. You got to watch out for that. So that's a big no-no. But talk about the social media. You got to, the picture, the wrong picture posted there, then you got a problem.
Right. Get this one, and it says, for instance, you may find Jesse from accounting to be far more attractive under bar lights than cubicle lights.
Yes, that's probably the truth.
But it's human nature. It says it's human nature, and I get it. But there again, workplace romances, or God forbid, one night talkies, I'm going into all that. But that can probably cause issues, I'm sure, as it is. Read the invitation carefully. I don't think that's really an issue there. I mean,
you talk about dress though. Like, how do you dress for some of these?
So, that's what here is dress appropriately. But would that have to be in an invitation?
It should be. Well, first off, if you're going to have some sort of theme, then definitely, right?
Right.
You're going to have people, if you don't stipulate that, you have people showing up with the ugly sweaters on. You have other people in formal wear. So I do think like what you've done in the past will set the precedence for what you guys are expecting. But you got new employees, they're all going to be, well, what should I wear to this? So I do think that it would be good to have on the invite. It's helpful to have that on the invite, but especially if you are going to do some sort of theme, like an ugly sweater contest or something like that, or dress in a holiday attire, I do think it's important to put that on there. But always overdressed rather than underdressed, for sure.
Hey, there's my brother Mike. There he is. Good evening, man. I was in the class. Great to see you both. There he is. Thanks, I was going to ask Mike about his Christmas parties, but I don't think Mike really has that many Christmas parties, right?
It's all about the food.
What's that?
It's all about the food.
All about the food, yeah. And then Kenny says, Jason, I want to see you in. Oh, that's the same one. All right, Kenny, slow down. I think I got like 20 messages from Kenny on here too. He's part of the show.
I think the biggest part about some of these is just doing something though. Even if it's bringing a group of workers. Hey, I worked when I was at Sears, again, struggling for cash. Right. Always found the funds to do something. A breakfast, a holiday breakfast at a diner.
Oh, I'd like that.
$10 a person. You get away with. Well, now it's probably a little bit more with inflation. Maybe it's 15 or 20 with inflation.
Yeah, where are you living at, man?
I know. Well, but you'd always find some way to just get it done. Even if it was rather inexpensive, just to show appreciation. And guess what? What's always free? Words. Words are free. Get in front of some people and just be able to share your appreciation for them. It doesn't cost anything to say something.
Yeah, you had me convinced on this one, because I didn't realize you're right. Because on the invitation, it could be employee only or employee plus one.
Yeah,
because you don't know whether you're allowed to bring because you're not married, are you allowed to bring your girlfriend? What's the difference? Or a fiance? And that there again, I think if you're going to have weddings, wives, you're going to probably have a spouse or a fiance or something.
Yeah, if you're going to do
all about loving, that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's either employee or employee plus one. So you're not, you can't say, well, you're not married, it's only your fiance. She can't. No, it's employee or employee plus one. So
no,
definitely.
One. And then they talk about, let's see, we've already talked about that. The casual potluck, they have meals, ugly sweaters.
I like them. I like the potlucks. The other thing that I've been a part of, and again, I'm going back to my brother's company, they do cooking contest. They do like cooking contests or baking contests. So every time they do, because they do an anniversary party too, a smaller employer, but they, every party, they'll do a baking contest, and whoever
Yep.
wins that contest, they get to choose the next item to be for the next bake off or cook off. So whether
That's
it's
awesome.
ribs or, again, the last one was even though they did a bowling alley, they did a dessert bake off.
I
So
would
that
love that
way
because
so
at
it's
Johnson and
easy.
Johnson, when I was
Yeah.
at Johnson and Johnson years and years ago, it was great because we had potluck and everybody. There were so many different cultures at
Yeah.
at
Oh, it's
Johnson.
awesome.
You had India, Brazil, you had your American, you had your Italian. It was like, wow. The only one we didn't eat was from the cat lady because she had like 8 cats and she'd always show pictures of her cats in the kitchen. And people would be like, don't eat her food because it's going to have cat hair all over it.
Well, that's the good thing about a potluck is everyone puts it down and you can choose which ones you want. So,
Choose which
but no,
ones you want.
I'm a huge proponent of doing that. It's also a great
Yeah, I
way
love it.
to again, to share your culture, to
Yep.
try different foods out, and also to an icebreaker even for for people. So I'm
Yeah.
a huge proponent of the potlucks. I'm a big proponent of the informal cooking contest and stuff like
Yep.
that, and or baking contests. It's just and it's a way for companies honestly to save money when their
Can you
employees are bringing
imagine?
their own food.
Can you imagine inviting Kenny with the dessert and how he words it?
Yeah,
Come try our
Kenny.
scrumptiously, deliciously,
Yeah,
everything. I don't want to get kicked off of LinkedIn, so I better not
yeah.
say what he does.
It definitely could be. Kenny's backup job, I think, should be the guy that names all the ice cream flavors at those ice cream shops. You know how they
Well, I bet
always
he
come up
could,
with those.
yeah, he would do good at
They
that.
come up with all those funny, those not funny, but those creative names to monster cookie dough and stuff like that. Kenny
He
could
would
come
be
up with
great
all
at
the
that.
he would
Yeah.
come up with all the ice cream flavors.
Kenny's flavor. Well, savor
It's
the
like the Ben and
flavors.
Jerry's. He's like the Ben and Jerry. How Ben and Jerry's has it. All those flavors.
Jason, I think we need to get T-shirts this year. Savor the flavor. I
Yeah.
just
Oh my
think
gosh.
I wonder if he put that. He'll answer, but I wonder if he's put that under GoDaddy or the domain or anything like
Yeah,
that.
you
I'll
gotta
have
have
to look.
that. Gotta have that trademarked, Kenny.
Yeah, savor the
flavor.
flavor. I'm sure that's gone. It has to be. All right, we picked on Kenny. So let's see. Do greet colleagues, hosts, and party planners. Yeah, I think you should bring your. I would take my wife around and introduce her.
Yeah,
I think that's the only proper thing to do. I mean, why
No,
wouldn't you?
absolutely.
Why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's, and I think it's also a way to. I think it's an eye opener though. Sometimes you see, like
Yeah.
you see if someone brings their spouse and they go, "Oh, okay, that's I didn't." You might not know that they were married, or you might have had something in your mind, like they bring someone in, like, "Oh, that's what Sue looks like," or
Oh, we talk about him. Yeah, you got
yeah,
pictures on the
yeah,
desk.
exactly. So it's definitely an ice breaking experience for sure.
And they also talk about try not to talk as much about work as have fun, talk about what you do outside of work, maybe, because like you said, you might not know that somebody's wife or husband does this as a hobby, or you'd be like,
Yeah.
well, you do what?
Yeah, exactly.
And you find it interesting, and I think that's a great thing. Just as again here it says, remember it's still a business event, and you're right, take it as a business, but have fun too at the same time. My sense of humor,
absolutely.
I love it. Mingle, we've talked about all that. Sponsor your company. In reaction, we talked about with all your colleagues, and that these are things that are just warm smile on your face. Like you got to tell somebody, make sure you smile. I don't think anything on that, but talk about other than work. We went over that. I agree with that. Oh yes. Oh geez. Here comes the big one. You don't talk about religion, politics, and your political views or anything like that at work, at corporate parties.
Well,
What do you think?
in my opinion, it's a subject that could be offensive.
Right.
But again, it's also I think it's okay to say what you believe in.
Right.
As long as you don't judge others for what they believe in, though. I think that's where where people sometimes cross the line is just because I believe in something doesn't mean that
Right.
I have to pressure you to believe in that same thing, right? So,
Right.
and that's where it's if you want to believe in that, God bless you, and if I believe in this and it's different, God bless me, So I think that's where people cross the line sometimes is because because you think differently or you believe in something differently. I have to convince you that you're wrong and you need to do what I do, So
Right.
that's where people, again, same goes with politicians. Of course, politics, of course, is the same thing, that okay, I'm this and I'm that, and this is why my party is better than your party, or whatever. It's like, so that's where I think that people run afoul on these things.
My wife would kick me under the table. I'd be getting kicked.
Well, but again, I guess what it goes back to is what's the purpose of sharing it to begin with, though, is your point. Is why do you feel the need to discuss those things or bring those things up? There's plenty of other things to talk about and share, but the same could be said, though. Dave, you and I live in an area where the same could be said about football. I mean, you can have so many different sports teams.
But sports is okay.
Where we are, you could be 3 different hockey teams, 4 different hockey teams, and 3 different football teams, and all within the same geographic area here. And then you have the random Cowboys fan that you throw in the mix up here or whatever.
Yeah, I know. Then
so again, the same thing could be said about pretty much any topic, that people are going to find ways to butt heads no matter what over a topic. But it's all in good jest. But again, there are topics, though, that do become much more that people have much more stronger feelings on.
Yeah, because
personal.
Jokes, like they're talking about jokes, and you always have a jokester around.
Yeah.
But like you said, I just think, again, it comes down to professionalism again. You can have a good time, but you just got to pull yourself back a little bit, maybe, and just, look at it that way for your company. Because even if your significant other saying something, I'd be like, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, the other thing I think about a party is, at what point do you make the graceful exit? Right. So,
well, we're getting towards the end here. It's when do you leave? When should you leave? Should you, if you're management, should you wait to the end? And it just goes on and on about all that stuff.
Well, if you're HR, you always duck out early. So
they're the ones that
you don't want to be around for what might be at the end. But
I'd have a blast with you as being a DJ. I'd be out there as a DJ. I'd be going, come on, Jason, let's go. I'll be getting that picture. I don't know where I'd put it on. Maybe Instagram or something.
I'm not doing any dancing this week. I'll tell you that for sure.
Yeah.
So.
And don't gossip around people behind their backs at their work Christmas party. You're right. If you're at a table, I've seen it because people talk about other people. Because you say, I've seen people say things about management at that table.
Yeah.
And then look at Mike. He's Jason. Jason, you're a great man, but Kylie looks better.
That's true. Although, Mike, I got compliments on my teeth today. So
yeah, Kenny gave compliments. And you know what the thing about your teeth is? How come I don't see mine? Like when I'm looking at the screen, all I keep looking at is this freaking thing.
Is your beard starting to grow over your lip? That's why I think.
Yeah, but I do have white teeth. But I keep looking at this. I'm
not wearing this. Yeah, you got the clip on and everything there.
Yeah, I had a clip. I just don't have that. But yeah, your teeth stand out.
I'm not sure. It must be the lighting in the office.
It's the lighting. Sure. But no, I get it. Don't gossip, because just because you might not like that person doesn't mean that you have to sit there and if somebody, I've seen it, I've heard it.
Yeah.
They'll come up and, oh, he's an ass, say some words, but I'm like, man, don't be saying that here.
Yeah. Or your wife or significant other giving them the dagger eyes because you badmouth them at home, and that's
yeah.
John. Oh, that's that son of a b that you keep on saying that's unproductive, or
that's unproductive. That's the person. Oh yeah, he fits it.
Then he told you he cheated on his wife, and there he is with his wife, and like things can get out of hand. If someone slips up or something, it says something
loud enough. Yeah, Jesus. And then the last thing here, this is a good trivia one for you. I want to see how good you are. Are you ready? Don't clap for yourself. What does that mean? What is that? Don't clap for yourself. It's a term often used, and I don't want to give it away, but I didn't know this. Don't clap for yourself. You ever hear that? It says,
come on.
The term is often used to describe drinking right after a person in your company who has been recognized for their outstanding achievements has offered a toast. What the hell is that about? I don't get it.
You got to say that one again.
All right. Don't clap for yourself. It's number 16. It says this term is often used to describe drinking right after a person in your company who has been recognized for their outstanding achievements has offered a toast. So if you're drinking and somebody's giving a toast achievement, I don't. You're
drinking while they're toasting? Is that what it's saying?
Yeah, you're drinking right after a person.
Yeah, you're not waiting for everyone to say cheers, or you're as they're toasting. You're
just laying it. I don't know. I mean, And then
So
it says
you
open
got the
parties.
compliment on your tie, Dave. So there you go.
There we go. Is he all right? Nice, bro. See, there we go, man. That's the one in the makes you look young. See, this thing I'm not wearing again because I'm constantly freaking looking at that. But that it does. You look at it, I'm like, all right, you're talking. I'm like, I'm paying attention to you, but I'm like, all right, this thing is going like that. All right. I think besides offering your thanks, don't bring uninvited guests. That's common sense.
Yeah.
And don't undermine the importance of your guest behavior. Well, we've talked about that. But yeah, I think do show up to work the next day. I can see that's important because if you especially if you were drinking and all that stuff like that. So wow. I didn't even have to go through all this. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I wanted to hit this one. So we talked about different things about virtual. And then it did talk about here about set clear guidelines for your employees. Employees are often unsure how to act at holiday parties. Standards are often looser than at the office. There's more of a party atmosphere. That's guidelines. I think that can come out. That you could have company guidelines. I don't see something wrong with that. Some people might not like it, but I think that's only protect everybody. Consider a hybrid or virtual Christmas party. You know, and you talked about that for doing parties and, like you said, virtual trivia. There's a bunch of games and all different things you could do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the other thing with when you go to the Secret Santa, and sometimes
Right.
you know, make sure you define the limit, right? You know, even
Right.
just common sense of like, you know, it's, you know, Secret Santa the $25 limit on the gift or something,
Right.
or no alcohol as gifts. Or, you know, just make sure you define the gifts and stuff like that. But I've actually seen women fight over Secret Santa gifts because you remember you do the Secret Santa and you can steal the gift. Like if you go and then you could either choose a Secret Santa gift or steal it from someone else.
Steal it. No, I've seen that where they pass it around.
Yeah, pass it around. Yeah, I've seen women almost get in fist fights because they stole something from another one that they really want. I'm like, am I really witnessing this? I'm like, it's crazy.
I remember that because the Furby. Remember when the Furby came out?
Oh yeah,
that was my first Christmas thing that we had that because I didn't know what we all sat in a circle.
Yep.
And you could steal it, and everybody wanted that freaking Furby because you couldn't find these damn things anywhere. That you could get a couple $100 for it. So you could take it. You could have sold it back then. But oh my God, that's so freaking hilarious.
Yeah. It's like it's like the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger where they had the superhero guy, I forget, it was with him and Sinbad. He was stealing what. It was crazy, but no, I've seriously seen women argue and fight and then hold it against each other. The grudge again. I can't believe you stole that from me. I'm like, are we freaking kidding me? Like, I mean, grow up.
It's a $25 gift. It's a $25 gift.
Yeah,
but definitely,
but definitely set some limits with if you're doing stuff like that. You know, because you don't want someone to get a gift. And the other thing is. Don't feel the obligation to give gifts, you know, and you know, so that's the other thing is it's okay if not everyone wants to participate in the Secret Santa. It's okay if people don't want to participate in certain things and they want to just keep working. So, you know, I have plenty of times where employees, like we were doing the holiday party in the office at lunchtime, and certain people they just weren't interested because either their religion, they didn't want to celebrate because of their religion, or they just didn't want to. You don't know what went on in their life. They might have lost a loved one during this time of year, and it's real hard for them to celebrate around these times. It brings up too many emotions, and they just rather keep working. Don't pressure people into participating if they don't want to. Just be respectful. Just be respectful and don't think they're weird and stuff like that, because you don't know what's going on in those folks' life.
Yeah, you don't. It's a tough year.
Yeah, I mean, it's a joyous season for us all to celebrate, but there's it's still stressful and real tough. I mean, there's a lot of people that just struggle through this time of year.
It's not
emotionally, but also financially too. There's a lot of pressure,
especially nowadays. Right now, it's. You know, we were talking about a show on Monday night, how, you know, with so many people being laid off and, you know, oh, you're having a Christmas party, but you're laid off and all this stuff like that. You're like, wow, these are all this again. The next day at HR has got to be fun. I can imagine that because a lot of people could bring things up, and I just couldn't imagine every little detail breaking it down.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and again, think always try and consider how you want to be looked the next, if you're going to a holiday party, like you at the hotel
Right.
and something, always consider trying to think about, well, what impression am I going to make that is going to be what I want to be looked at tomorrow when
Right.
you go back to work? You're going to want
And
people
they go
like
back. Yeah. Everybody's gonna be like, go look at
talking
Jason.
about what you did at the party, or
Yeah.
you see John's moves, and I didn't know if he could still do the worm, like
I know that,
like,
or they do the worm, or they start to twerking, or oh
yeah,
my god, when I
yeah,
put songs on, some of the hip hop songs, here we go. I'm like, oh my god, and I'm like,
yeah,
I see it. And the ones that were drinking are the ones out there. They're out there. They don't care. They'll
yeah,
get out there and dance, and then they try to get their coworkers, and they don't. So then I throw a slow song on, and then there's 50 people out there, and
yep.
then you're good to go. But no, I think we did pretty good tonight. That was well, it was almost an
That was,
hour.
it was a good topic. It was a timely
Yeah,
topic to have, and again, it's just I think a lot of it is common sense, but it's still good reminders for folks. So,
right.
oh, thanks, Mike. I really appreciate it, and
Yep.
it's I try my best to share things and just share experiences that I've had, and I think both Dave, and I just try and get the word
Yeah.
out to help people. Right, that's what we
it.
want to do, is just give good advice, and
Yep.
hopefully people can ask questions and solicit and give us topics to talk about each week, so that we can keep on. We don't have this white hair for any reason, right?
I know, right? Well,
this is
now that
this
I
is
have this, I don't
earned.
know how much longer I'm going to grow it. I feel like it just feels so weird. It's like Santa Claus, and
So
I'm
my
like,
brother brought up a picture of me. I think it was like 15 years ago was the last time I had a beard, and I wore it well. I did wear it well, but they said I should bring it back, and my wife immediately said, "Don't you dare!
don't you dare."
Don't
We
you
get a lot of, I'm excited for a lot of the shows coming up and getting some new guests on it just coming up this year. And
Yeah.
Kylie, Eric, he had to take his wife out. I guess he had
Yeah.
canceled dinner 3 times. He's like, Dave, I can't do it again. He said
Yeah.
he could. And Kylie had some kind of construction. She better have had construction, because if she's not on here tonight, people were looking for her. So, but no, thanks for coming on as always. And Merry Christmas, sir. And we got a long year coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to be able to hopefully share some good news in the future about me being
we're gonna have
employed and stuff. And
or why don't we have like a 24-hour like a marathon thing where we'll just stay on this show for 20 hours or 24 hours.
There you go. We can honestly, Dave, with your prep, and you could probably just go back to all your pile of papers that we never got through, some of the prior ones.
Look at this. These are all my notes, man. I ran out of white paper. You can.
I was going to say, that really stands out, that pink paper.
Yeah, it's a neon papers. I ran out. I was like, what the heck is going on with the printer? I was like, oh my god, that must be on reserve. That came out like
Dave,
like 30-some pages.
Do you have a way for us to have 2 mics in your office? In your studio there? Yeah, 2 microphones. I think it'd be cool if we did a show where you and I were both in the same room, like across from a table from each other. I think that would be awesome. If there's a way to set up a
ways.
camera.
I think there's ways of putting up another camera. You can put 2 or 3 cameras, and it would show. I know what you're saying. Yeah, there is a way. We'll have to figure it out.
That'd be cool. I mean, I'd come there and we do a show together where we're both there. If your wife wants to host me. So
I'm going to ask that on StreamYard after this. I'm going to go on Facebook there and ask that in a Facebook group on that part, see if it is, because that'd be cool. So
yeah, we do one where we're together in the office there drinking coffee. And we'll drink coffee. We'll drink coffee.
I'm looking forward to next year. I also bought a new webcam. Get this real quick. It's gonna for Christmas. Santa's bringing it to me. But it's going to be the 4K that
only if you've been nice.
Out. It's going to be the one that you use your 2 fingers or 3, but it moves with you, so I can talk and stand and talk.
Oh, really? Cool.
So I can move. So I'm working on a set now for the opposite side where the huge fish tank is. It's getting painted jet black. It'll be done tomorrow. I'll show you with the flames, ring of hire. It's got the TV. It's going to paint the background, and then I want to be able to do some talks and be able to show and a whiteboard right there.
That'd be cool.
Give it a shot, something with the new whiteboards that you can do. But I don't know what this thing is. You hold your 2 fingers up or 3 and it moves for you. I guess you go like this. I don't know. We'll see.
That's the Boy Scout, right? I think
the Boy Scouts when you do that. So, all right, sir. I'll talk to you right after this. Merry Christmas, and we'll talk to you soon, right?
Thanks. Thanks, everyone that joined. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. We'll be back before then.